What's good, Colts Nation? Welcome to another episode of Danny on Colts, a show dedicated to the Indianapolis Colts. My name is Daniel, and we are going to be taking a look at the recap of the Colts and Raiders game. Man, Victory Monday feels fantastic, does it not? This was a game that the Colts absolutely needed to win. The Raiders absolutely needed to win this game to stay in the playoff hunt. Now we have the tiebreaker against the Raiders. So we're going to just jump right into it. So Philip Rivers again had a great game, 19 to 28, 244 yards, a couple of touchdowns. He played very well, and I think the best part about where he played really good, I guess, was in the check down game and also to checking in and out of different passes and run plays. He was really good at reading the defense and did a really good job at putting players in positions to win their battles. Now, one of the things that really chaps me the most is hearing all of these Colts fans just constantly complaining about him. And it's driving me insane. Yes, he's in the beginning of the year. Yes, we had some bad games. I mean, we lost to the 1 and 13 Jaguars now, and that one win they have is against us. Of course, that makes me I actually did a TikTok about that. That me just yelling about it, kind of like Dwight in the office after Jim becomes, the manager there, just screaming at the top of my lungs. But, however, Rivers had a really good game. Rivers played very well, and this was the type of play that we expected from him when we signed him. This was the type of play that we actually wanted from him, and he's doing a good job at it. Lately, this past couple of games, he's been putting himself and players in position to win games, which is all that you can really ask of him. Now, where the Colts really did well was the rushing game. Now, as far as the rushing game goes, Jonathan Taylor just blew it out of the water. He carried the ball 20 times for buck 50. Of course, he had that 62-yard pass, which was just awesome. And then he averaged 7.5 and had two touchdowns. Now, it wasn't just him. Hines also had 7 for 58 and had an 8.3 average. So the one thing that we knew going into this game was that the Raiders had a piss poor defense, and we beat them so bad that they actually fired their defensive coordinator after the game. Paul Gunther is out in Las Vegas. Rod Arinelli is in, I'm assuming, for the remainder of the season until they can hire somebody. But the point being is that the Colts made sure that in a game that they had to win, the defense did a really good job. Oakland. That's going to take me a minute. Las Vegas was averaging about 25 points a game. The Colts allowed 27, so it wasn't like we dominated them on defense, but we made plays when we had to make plays, and we did a good job when we had to make the plays. And of course, the ridiculous interception by Kenny Moore was just immaculate. So staying on the offensive side here for a little bit more, T.Y. Hilton, another great game, 5 for 86 and a couple of touchdowns. He got mauled on a deep pass and the pass that he should have caught. They should have thrown that flag. I mean, I went back and I watched the game. Originally, I thought it was a good no call. I was wrong. He completely just got mauled on it. And now Jack Doyle had 3 for 44, Michael Pittman 2 for 42, but the only touchdowns that came were from Hilton with 2. Hines got involved 4 for 17, Taylor 2 for 15. Mo Alley, Cox, and Jordan Wilkins each had a catch. Cox had 9 yards. Wilkins had 4. Overall, it was just a beatdown. The Colts did a really good job at making sure that they put themselves in position to win the game. And this was something that I've talked about before, is that whenever the Colts need to win, they somehow decide that they need to play good. The only game that we saw them actually just lay an egg was, well, there's two. There was the second Titans game where they just completely just came out flat. The defense was not getting a pass rush. Nobody was really playing well. The offense sucked. And then, of course, the Jacksonville game, we just came out completely flat. And we allowed Gardner Minshew, of all people, to have a perfect quarterback ranking. It's hard to believe that this team, this current roster, allowed the Jaguars to beat us. Ugh. That's all that I can really say about it. Now, as on the defensive side, according to Pro Football Focus, they've named Rock Sin and Kenny Moore to the PFF team of the week. Kenny Moore had an incredible game. He had 5 solo tackles, and he struggled in the beginning of the game. I mean, he was covering Darren Waller, who was at least 7 to 10 inches taller than him, and he had a horse collar called on him. He had a couple of big plays on him. But after that, on that same series, he just had this ridiculous pick that was just awesome. I mean, that's going to be the talk of the town for a couple of weeks to come. I personally, I think it should be in the talk for best catch of the year, but that's just me. Kari Willis was the other guy that had another pick. It was off of a deflected pass, caught it in stride. Pick six pretty much to ice the game. The game was really over. And at that point, Darius Leonard had 8 solo tackles with 3 assists. Bobby Okereke in his first game back had five solo 1 assist. Anthony Walker had 5 assists. The Forrest Buckner had 3 tackles on there. Blackman, for all of my talk that I love about him, he completely whiffed on this long pass to Foster Moreau, and that made me angry. But overall, Blankenship, three for three, had 14 points on the day. He's had 116 on the season so far. He's just playing lights out. I'm really glad that we got him on our team. Okay, so now as far as the Raiders go, so the Raiders are a very interesting team because when they're on, they are on, and they're very hard to stop. Now, the past couple of weeks, I mean, they had that Jets game where they almost lost to the Jets, but the Colts did a pretty good job at making them one-dimensional. I talked on last week's show when I talked to the Raider Take guys, Micah, and I talked to him and I said, I think if the Colts can make the Raiders one-dimensional, that they can somehow win. And that's really what happened here. They had to throw the ball 45 times, 316 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 picks. Now, Josh Jacobs, for all the hype that the Raider fans had about him coming into this game, 13 for 49, 3.8 yards per carry. Now, as far as the receiving goes, Aguilar had 5 for 100 and a touchdown. Darren Waller, we did a pretty good job at shutting him down. He had 7 for 75. Foster Moreau, of course, had the other touchdown, the 47 yards. Hunter Renfro was the guy that worried me too. He's kind of Mr. First Down. First and Renfro is what they call him. He had 5 for 38, and of course he had a couple of first down catches that were crucial in the first half. And the one thing I was really impressed with the Colts too is that they didn't allow a lot of pressure. And when Chaz Green started to struggle, I mean, on the screen pass, he clearly just whiffed on his block. If you go back and you watch the all 22 film, he clearly just 100% just whiffed on that block, and that's probably the reason why he was benched was because of that. Every single offensive linemen engaged on their block except for him. And the linebacker who was 15, 20 yards away, all the way on the other side of the field, runs all the way across because he did not bother to engage his block to make the tackle. And that's what saved the touchdown on, I believe it was the first drive of the game. So we come out with 3 points instead of seven, right? I mean, that just drives me insane. Now, the really, I'm sick and tired of hearing all the Rivers haters. We have to stop hating on Rivers. I mean, this was a game where we needed to win. Defense, offense, everybody played well, and I think that the Colts went out there and they proved that they deserve that wild card spot. So now we're 2 games ahead of the Raiders. We're still tied with the Titans. Well, we're a half game behind the Titans because their division record is better than ours. Theoretically, if the Titans lose 1 game and we win out, we can take the South and we can get that 3 or 4 seed. But the Browns do own the tiebreaker against us, but they lost to the Ravens. So it's looking up for the Colts victory Monday. Again, it's really nice. It's really good. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from them. And I thought that they did a really good job on all this stuff. I mean, and there really isn't really that much more to be really said about this. I mean, this is just going to be a pretty quick episode here, but the Colts played well. They did their jobs. They made sure that everything went great. They made sure that they showed the rest of the football world that they wanted to be in the playoffs and that they wanted to be there. So, looking ahead, we've got Houston next. And this is a game where I think that the Colts can win and that we need to be able to win out. And then after that, of course, we got the big one against the Steelers too. And I think that again, it just comes down to that the Colts need to win every single game. Every single thing. I think every single game is very important right now. So with that being said, make sure you sub on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you kind of get your podcast. However, that this show meets you. Hope to meet you live and well. Stay safe. Go Colts.